Hailey Piper's A Game in Yellow, published in 2025 via Saga Press, is not only one of the best and most thrilling horror novels of that year, that is last year, it's also one of the best pieces of modern world building in the modern Carcosa mythos, that series of extensions to Robert W. Chambers' world building in his original stories from The King in Yellow. Welcome to PhD&D, everyone. I'm Dr. Bowers, and I want to tell you why you should read Hailey Piper's excellent novel from 2025, A Game in Yellow. Now, just to be clear, I am coming at it from the perspective of somebody who really loves horror fiction, who really appreciates good writing, and who loves the King in Yellow mythos and has been immersed in that mythos for half a decade now. I want to mention that this is also a work of queer erotica centered on queer women, so there's definitely at least one sense in which I may not be the book's intended audience. So there may be respects in which I fail to fully appreciate everything that the book has to offer, but it's still really, really good. The plot is that two lovers, Carmen and Blanca, are in a kind of rut in their relationship. They love being kinky and trying new thrilling things with each other, but something has gone out, the spark has gone out in their relationship, and they need some help. Help arrives, or seems to arrive, when they meet a character named Smoke, who has a copy of The King in Yellow. It turns out that reading The King in Yellow has a lot of erotic properties, and Carmen gets a little hooked on it. I won't tell you everything that happens in the book, but it follows a very fun horror narrative. One of these narratives concerning, a cursed object, like the Japanese horror film Ringu, or its adaptation, The Ring. This is really appropriate because I think Robert W. Chambers wrote the very first of such stories in The Yellow Sign. The Yellow Sign is also kind of a, hey, I found a cursed object story, what with the brooch and everything. Anyway, you can tell that Hailey Piper also loves the King in Yellow mythos and has thought a lot about it. There are a lot of very clever references and riffing on the world building from Chambers. I especially enjoyed the idea of no mask, where mask is spelled M-A-S-C, and then it functions as this term in the BDSM community in the novel and, of course, in real life. Also, the choice to have it set amid BDSM culture and sexual kink culture makes it an especially appropriate fit for The King in Yellow. Robert W. Chambers' stage play was famously inspired by the decadent culture of 19th century Paris, and so wherever you find The King in Yellow, you should also find some lascivious, decadent indulgences, and the sex community in this novel is perfect for that. It was an excellent choice. There's also some really lovely, what would you call them, interface screws, some fourth wall playing. I won't say fourth wall breaking, but there's some really fun interactive stuff that happens as you're reading the novel. And I don't want to spoil that, but that's another fun feature of the book. And finally, I want to really praise what Piper did in her unique and very clever interpretation of, I was very impressed. This cool interpretation of some of Chambers' own world building based on the specific language of the snippets of The King in Yellow that we get in The Repairer of Reputations and The Mask. Just really cool idea to merge those snippets together in a fun way that I also don't want to spoil. But I would say that this is an ingenious tribute to the King in Yellow mythos, to Robert W. Chambers, and also, of course, to the larger tradition of queer horror and expanding great literary boundaries. That's all I have to say for just this short video, but you should absolutely pick up a copy of Hailey Piper's A Game in Yellow and give it a read if you're into King in Yellow stuff, you're into queer horror erotica stuff, if you're into graphic horror stuff, body horror stuff, cosmic horror stuff. Take a look at A Game in Yellow. That's it. I'll have more videos like this, that is to say, about other recent contributions to the modern Carcosa mythos soon, as well as other videos. So in the meantime, thanks.